Okay, looks like we're live. Hi, everyone. Happy Mounjaro Monday. It's Monday, Monday, Monday. Yay! And on Mounjaro Mondays is when I take my Mounjaro injection. I just completed 8 weeks on Mounjaro. This is going to be my 9th shot on Mounjaro, and I'm doing Mounjaro 5 milligrams. I've been doing it for a little bit now. I started with the 2.5. I did that for 3 weeks. I should have done it for 4 weeks, but my 4th week, I broke the shot. If you want to see how and tips and tricks not to break a shot, if you check my Mounjaro playlist, week number 4, 2 big mistakes. And one of the big mistakes was I broke my shot. And I'm going to give you, or you can watch me take my shot now. I need to start by doing that. Last week, I gave myself my shot on my stomach, and I believe I did 2 inches below my belly button. I've been trying to work kind of in different spots, so that way I'm not always injecting in the same spot. I also injected my legs, and I've only injected in my arm once. I will try that again sometime, but it's my personal least favorite spot because I wear a Freestyle Libre sensor that senses my blood sugar. I have type 2 diabetes, and so I'm on Mounjaro for type 2 diabetes, and I need to lose a lot of weight too. So it's a double do for me. Anyway, I prefer to do my legs or my stomach, and today I'm going to do my legs. And I found out something this week that I want to share. I believe the person on YouTube that spoke about this, I think she calls herself Dr. O, and she has a really long, unusual last name that starts with an O. But anyway, she shared that sometimes when people feel like they have better results if they do it in their arm, and some people have better results they feel if they give themselves their injection in their stomach, and some people feel they have better luck when they use their legs. Well, this doctor said part of the reason for that is because you have to be very careful when you give yourself the shot that you're putting it in your fat. And if you don't have very chubby legs, there are some people that are more apple shaped, even though they're overweight, their weight's in their trunk area, but their legs are very lean. And so if you're one of those people and your legs really are pretty much just skin and muscle, and you don't have a lot of fat in your legs, that might not be the best place for you to give yourself your shot, because you don't want to shoot into your muscle. You want to shoot the medicine into your fat. And I have fat everywhere. Equal opportunity person for fat. So I could do any of the 3 locations. And I haven't really noticed a difference for myself yet in side effects based on where I'm giving myself my shot, because I've always hit fat. But I did notice one time when I did it in my leg, I was doing it standing up, and I worried standing up I might actually be engaging my muscles. So I'm going to sit down briefly when I give myself my shot in the leg. So you might see my head just disappear for a second and then pop back up again. But that's because I'm standing right now, but I'll be sitting, so that way for sure I get it in my muscle area. I mean, not my muscle, in my fat. I'm really excited to share some things with you this week. I saw my doctor last Wednesday, and those of you who've been on this journey with me, if you saw last week, I shared toilet troubles, and I was very constipated, and I didn't realize I was constipated because I was still pooping a little bit in the morning and a little bit one more time during the day, but I needed to see a gynecologist because I was having some they call it postmenopausal bleeding. So sorry, guys. La 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 la. For the ladies out there, if you After 12 months of not having a period, you're in menopause. But if you start spotting, you're doing any kind of bleeding after that 12 months, that's called postmenopausal bleeding. And women never talk about it and they don't know that that's a thing, but it's a thing. And you need to see a gynecologist so the gynecologist can run some tests to see why you're bleeding. And not everybody who bleeds postmenopausally, not everybody has cancer when that happens, but a lot of people do. And that's the first sign of endometrial cancer, ovarian cancer, cervical cancer, some variety of female cancers show up as bleeding. And it also happens to young ladies, but what's hard with young ladies is we have periods, once a month, and they might be heavier if you have cancer, or they might show up, your period might show up more than once a month, and that's unusual for you. And if you have unusual bleeding that's different than you normally have, you also need to see a gynecologist. But it's a lot harder because you're kind of used to it and you just think, darn it, I have an extra period this month. What a bummer. And not realize that it may be something that you need to check out because it might be something else. But for us ladies that are older and in our 50s and up, if we haven't bled for 12 months, then any month after that you have any kind of spotting at all, you definitely need to see, you can see your primary doctor, and then your primary doctor is going to recommend you see a gynecologist. And that's what's happened to me. Anyway, and they run extra tests. And when my gynecologist did a pelvic ultrasound, she couldn't see my right ovary because she said I was FOS way backed up. And she asked me, like, do you ever poop? And I was like, I do. I have been. I've been eating fiber gummies. I mean, I didn't for a little bit and I was constipated, but then I started eating fiber gummies and I do, a couple times a day, but it's not a lot, but I'm not eating as much. And she said, oh, honey, you are so backed up. And she recommended that I take Colace at least once or twice a day until I finally relieve all of that backed up pressure. And anyway, and they did find some polyps and hey, Jeff.
If this ice cream is too constipating, I can finish it for you.
Ooh, it's really light too. Okay, Jeff last week had his first immunotherapy, and I think I told you guys last week, for those of you that have been here with me for, if this isn't your first week, and last Monday was the night before his first immunotherapy treatment for his bladder cancer.
All through the house.
Oh my gosh. And he was nervous and I was nervous, and he came in and showed me my ice cream. I have this strawberry ice cream that I don't let him eat. This is only mine, and it is a quart size Haagen-Dazs. There is a smaller Haagen-Dazs, and then yeah, the little pint size. This is the quart size, but it's smaller than a half gallon. I think it's a lot smaller than the half gallon, but it is a little bit bigger. Anyway, I bought this the first week I started doing Mounjaro. So 8 weeks ago, and look, there's still some ice cream left. But if you check from last week less. There was more than this. It's significantly less. Jeff asked if he could eat it, and I said, well, if you want to, but I suppose since you're going to have treatment tomorrow. And he was
cheesy.
Yeah, and he didn't, but I ran out and I got him some ice cream, and he was sitting down and he must have had a couple of bowls in a row, and it looked so good that I was like, oh man, all right, I'm going to eat some of my strawberry ice cream. And I pulled it out, and usually when I pull it out, I'll have a third of a cup, but I had 2/3 of a cup last week, and I only have that much left.
That's
just
amazing.
A teeny weeny bit.
Weeks?
Yeah, 8 weeks. Ice cream like this wouldn't last 8 days in the house. I would have eaten this in I don't know, maybe 3 days, it'd be gone. So to have it for 8 weeks, that is a miracle. So, and hey, Jeff, you can let everyone know, what was it like, your immunotherapy treatment?
it was a little uncomfortable when it was, anyway, when they were putting the catheter in to inject the solution into my bladder, but it wasn't painful, and it wasn't painful after it. The hardest part was 2 hours of laying on this side, then 15 minutes this side, then 15 minutes this side, and then, you know, like a rotisserie chicken,
Yeah.
and holding it for 2 hours and not peeing.
With a full bladder, with the stuff
Well, it
in
wasn't
it.
full in the beginning, but then after 2 hours, like,
Yeah, I mean they put some stuff in his bladder.
Right.
It's some kind of a fluid that
and,
has
and I put
tuberculosis
some
in
stuff
it.
in my bladder too.
Yeah.
But it was not painful, and I'm really grateful to the people who had invented this therapy and who tested it and learned how to do this. So anyway, tomorrow's my day number 2, treatment number 2.
Yeah, and we watched a movie on TV, so that way while he was laying on the bed for 2 hours, flipping every
Star
15
Trek
minutes.
First Contact.
Yeah.
Which she hates, so she was doing it for a treat for me.
Yeah, but actually, I don't mind that one so much as some of the others. I like that one, and I like Generations. So we're going to see Generations tomorrow. Star Trek Generations, the movie. Yes.
All
right.
Away?
Yeah, because I know that'll melt it so little. But all right, thank you so much, Jeff.
You're welcome.
Hey, wait, come here.
Oh, yeah.
Big guy. Yeah, can't leave and not give me a kiss. Love you.
Love you too.
Okay, so back. Let's see, where was I? Oh. So when I was at the gynecologist, you have to get a pelvic ultrasound if you are a lady who is postmenopausal and you have bleeding. They kind of want to see what's going on in there, and they couldn't see my right ovary because I was too backed up. But they did see in there that I have some polyps. Polyps can be okay. Polyps sometimes bleed. It's just like having a mole on your skin, my gynecologist said. And sometimes when you have moles on your skin, they turn cancerous, and sometimes they don't. So I'm going to have a procedure towards the end of the month where I go to the hospital and they knock me out, and they'll scrape all that stuff out and then send it to a lab, and then I'll know if I'm okay or not. Anyway, but I just wanted to let people know about this because women don't talk about this. We talk about getting our mammograms. We talk about hot flashes in menopause, but no one talks about that stuff anymore. Once you hit your 50s, you know, that's not a topic of conversation. And the problem is because we don't know it, we would think maybe if, for me, it was just 13 months out that I didn't have a period. And so you think, darn it, I was stressed out because of Jeff's cancer diagnosis and he had his second surgery in January, and oh poo, it gave me a period again. And that was my thought process. But I'm very fortunate that my mom's a retired nurse practitioner. And when I told her that, she was like, Gina, you need to go see your doctor and you need to call him this week and get seen. Well, while I got seen, after I saw my gynecologist, in order to have a surgery, you have to run a bunch of tests to make sure that you can have a surgery where they knock you out. So I've had to have like a chest x-ray, turned back fine, EKG, that kind of stuff, but they also have to do blood work. And all of that is done through your primary doc. Well, with my health insurance, my primary doctor, it has to be my quarterback. And he's the one that makes sure that I go to do all the things and see the specialists I'm supposed to see. But he's the main contact that refers me out. And so he had to make sure that I did all the right tests. And so I got to see him last week, and I do have news. But first, because he did my blood work, and I have news about how Mounjaro has affected my blood work, and it was actually very good news. Okay, but first, let me take my shot while I'm thinking about it. First thing I like to do is I always wipe my skin. I think I did my right leg last time, so I'm going to do my left leg this time. So I get cleaned. Next important tip, you must take off the gray cap before you do anything else or you'll ruin your shot. Learn that the hard way. And then you turn it to unlock. It's unlocked. Let's sit down a second to make sure I'm in my fat. There you go. And you listen for the second click, and the second click happened. So my shot is now done. Easy peasy. And so, yep, easy peasy. That didn't hurt one bit. Okay, and so now the retest results. That was the most exciting thing last week. I was so excited to get these test results. I had my annual exam in December before I had my postmenopausal bleeding, and we did my A1C. And in December, my A1C was 7.2, which is diabetic. It's not even it's the very diabetic. And 7.5 weeks on Mounjaro, and my hemoglobin, I don't know if you can see that or not, like that maybe, 6.0. That's a big difference to go from 7.2 to 6.0. 6.0 is pre-diabetic. So that's really exciting. And that's not 12 weeks on Mounjaro. That was just 7.5 weeks on Mounjaro. So I really feel the next time I meet with him and we do this, I'll probably be in the fives, which would be like so exciting to be in the fives. When I was first diagnosed with type 2 diabetes 3.5 years ago, I was 10.2. And so I was able to get from 10.2, down to the 7.2s or high sixes or whatever by diet and exercise. But it's hard to be consistent with diet and exercise. I did a video about that too on one of the weeks, and I talked about that quite a bit. And my A1C started sneaking back up again, and it was 7.2 in December, but 6.0. So that's great. And then something else happened that I did not expect to show up in my blood work. And I know that too was because of taking Mounjaro. And let me pull up that test. My doctor's office has something called a patient portal where you can type things in, and then they also share your lab results. So that would be, let's see, my lipid panel. Okay, 2 years ago, my cholesterol was 255. And so my doctor put me on a statin, and I've been on the statin for 2 years. And every time I've had my blood work done, the statin really helped, and it brought it from 255 to I'd either be 168 or 169 for my total cholesterol, which is great. And so I thought, that was like amazing for me. Well, on Mounjaro, my cholesterol is 131. It's yeah, oh well, you can't see it, but I'm trying to show it to you. But 131, I can't believe it. I've never been 131. I've always ran high. When I was 21 years old and I just completed my student teaching to be an elementary school teacher, I remember visiting my mom when she was at a nursing convention in Chicago. And they had a table with a lot of tables with vendors. And my mom, she took me over to one of the vendors, and they were doing a free cholesterol check. And I'd never had my cholesterol checked, but I was teeny tiny then. I was 110 pounds. I was little. And I'm very active. I used to ride a bike a couple hours a day for relaxation in the evenings. And when I got my cholesterol done, I was like 185. And I remember my mom saying, "Oh, good grief, Gina. I'm so much older than you, and mine's 154. How could you be 185?" But I'm someone who runs high with cholesterol, even skinny and young. And I'm not skinny and young anymore. So when it finally creeped up to 255, my doctor did the statin with me. But now with the statin and Mounjaro together, I'm down to 131. I can't believe it. that was a big surprise and a wonderful surprise. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. If you are new to taking Mounjaro or Zepbound, you want to be having regular meetings with your doctor, at least every 3 to 6 months in person. So that way they can make sure you're doing well with any side effects and that kind of thing. And they'll do blood work on you. And you'll be surprised, but I bet your cholesterol will go down too, because there's a lot of people in the Mounjaro Zepbound support group that I'm a part of on Facebook. And I have the link to it in the comments or in the description of this video. It's awesome. It's free. I do not run it. I'm just a participant, but the lady who runs it is a nurse practitioner. So, and if you put, a post on there, it has to be pre-approved by her before it shows up on the page. So she does a really good job monitoring it. And I get a lot of good information there. So anyway, so I highly recommend them. I also, I do a lot of research on, and lots of places, including YouTube. And I found a lady, her channel is called Dr. Hormone, and her name is Dr. Susan Bryan, and she's an endocrinologist. She is awesome because I put in the comments after watching some of her videos, and they're wonderful. And she's really on top of the the research that's coming out about Mounjaro and Zepbound. She's also staying current on what the research is happening on other new drugs that are coming out for weight loss or to help with weight loss and type 2 diabetes. So she's on the cutting edge watching all these things. Well, in the comment section, I told her about what was happening with me, that I had some postmenopausal bleeding, and I'm seeing my endocrinologist, and I am going to have a D&C and histoscopy where they put a little camera to look at stuff, and I'm going to be doing that this month. But I was curious, can Mounjaro start your period if you're in menopause? Is that a side effect of Mounjaro? Because I don't see it anywhere when I look on the Mounjaro website, and I've looked other places where I really haven't seen that, because us ladies, we don't talk about it. It's usually not something we talk about. Well, I told her about that, but I said, what's really interesting is, I had postmenopausal bleeding the last week of January, and it just lasted 1 week, and it was just very light and kind of spotty. But it happened again, and for an entire week now, and it's like a regular period where I really need to wear a maxi pad and that kind of thing, and it feels like a period, and it looks like how my periods used to look. And I swear, at the end of January, when I had my first set of spotting, I took my first shot on January 10th, and that started on the 25th, that my breasts were getting larger. And I mentioned it to Jeff. I'm like, I swear they seem like they're getting a little bigger and a little heavier. And they still are. And I've lost weight. And usually when you lose weight, everything gets smaller. So I asked her about that too. So it's like, is it possible that it could be that since Mounjaro has hormones in it, because it's the hormones that make you so you don't think about eating, and it takes away that food noise up here. And it also slows the emptying of your stomach, so that way you're fuller longer. But is it possible it could, like, I don't know, like talk to some of my other hormones, and all of a sudden it's like the fountain of youth and I'm just having regular periods? Because my period started again this last week, and it's exactly 1 month later, and it's acting even more like a regular period than it did a month ago. And with the breast enlargement too, could this be a thing? And she wrote back to me within 24 hours. I got a message back from her, and the message was that, yeah, sometimes it starts women's menses that haven't had one for a while. There are some women in the Mounjaro Zepbound group that they're showing pictures of their Mounjaro babies. And I was like, oh, a Mounjaro baby. What exactly did they mean by that? And what they mean by that is there are some women, when you get too overweight, sometimes your periods stop even when you're younger, and they're very irregular, so it's harder to get pregnant if you're overweight like that sometimes. And for some women, Manjaro has been just such a godsend, because as their blood sugar normalizes and they start to lose weight, they start having their periods again. So there is a possibility that it's just that. So I contacted my gynecologist, and this week I'm going to meet with her again before I have my surgery at the end of the month. And we're going to check my hormone levels and just see, what's happening hormone wise. So anyway, I'm sharing these things because I have yet to see a video about it. Nobody talks about this. And sorry for any guys who are paying attention, but if you have a wife and she's going through this, you need to know, so that way she can get checked. And hopefully it's no big whoop, because sometimes it's not a big whoop. She might have some fibroids or some polyps, and I have a couple of fibroids and I have some polyps, and they might just be like regular things that, I don't know, stress or something made them bleed for a minute. But or it might be the beginning of a female cancer, but you want to find out early, because you find out early, it's so easy to take care of it. If you find out late, then it's a really big, bad problem. So anyway, I'm saying this stuff because if I can save one other woman out there, one other woman that doesn't have a sister friend that shared this, and it happens to them, and it's been a year and a half, maybe 2 or 3 years, and like, oh gosh, I was stressed and I had a period, and they ignore it. What if it's cancer? And you don't want to have more symptoms on top of that, because then you're getting to the later stages of cancer, and that's really rough. And so anyway, if I can save somebody from not having a really rough time later, and they can take care of something really fast where it's easy to take care of it and they can live a long time, um, that's why I'm sharing all this goofy stuff with you today. And sorry to my guy friends out there, because this isn't the most fun one to listen to. But for guys and gals, oh my goodness, not only can you lose weight on Mounjaro, but it really makes a big difference with your blood sugar and your A1C. And it may make a big difference for you too, for your cholesterol levels, and my triglycerides are down. All of that's down. And one of the problems when you have type 2 diabetes is you have a higher risk of stroke and you have a higher risk of heart attacks. And so it's so important to be able to get control of your blood sugar as well as your weight. And I tell you what, I am so, so thankful that I have found Mounjaro, because I have lost weight too. So, also tip, some people put in the comments last week, because I asked everyone to come up with a goal, at least one goal for this week that you'd like to work towards. And you could put it in the comments, so that way you can even look back yourself and go, what was my goal? Did I hit it? And let me know if you hit it. My goal last week was to finally take care of my constipation and get rid of my blockage. So maybe if my doctor wants to look at my right ovary, she'll get a chance to be able to see it before the surgery. And who wants to be all backed up? So anyway, she had told, my gynecologist said to take Colace pills. That's just a stool softener, and try that once or twice a day. And I was having some luck, but I wasn't completely emptied. And then Wednesday, when I talked to my primary doctor, he said, you know what, Gina, Miralax doesn't hurt you. And now remember, he knows what all I have is high cholesterol and diabetes. And now postmenopausal bleeding's added to it. But, in the past, I've just had those two things. And with the medication I'm taking, my metformin and the Mounjaro and my statin are the only three things that I take. He said, I could do Miralax every day for the rest of my life and it wouldn't hurt me. And I'm like, really? It wouldn't get me addicted to it or something? And he said he really didn't think it'd be a problem. And he also said that I might need a little Miralax because I need the stool softener makes things soft, but the Miralax stimulates the colon some, or will make things move faster, where you can really clean things out. So uh, that night, and on that day, Wednesday of last week, I was down 10 pounds. So I was excited because I lost another pound. So I was down 10 pounds at 7.5 weeks. And I took one Colay stool softener. I did my Juice Super Greens powder, 1 scoop of that also has probiotics in it, in 16 ounces of water. I added, I only had half a serving of Miralax in the house. There was only like a half a serving. So I added that to my Super Greens drink. And I had a Colay tablet with it. And I tell you what, I woke up at 2 in the morning and, it didn't wake me up from a solid sleep because Jeff got up to go to the bathroom. And so sometimes that wakes me up, and it woke me up. And so then I was kind of awake for a few minutes. And then all of a sudden it sounded like a thunderstorm was happening in my gut. I don't think I've ever, even when I've had colonoscopies, when I do the prep beforehand, they have like such a loud thunderstorm, but there was a loud thunderstorm. And I got up and went to the bathroom. And the next day I was down 2 pounds. And I also continued with the uh, that next day I did Colace again with my little stuff, and I bought Miralax and I did one regular serving. And the day after that, I woke up with another little thunderstorm, not as loud as the one the day before, and again emptied and lost another pound. So really, I probably was losing more weight than I was telling you guys because I was so backed up. Um, and now I'm not. So I am officially down 13 pounds in after 8 weeks on Mounjaro. So I'm really excited. I'm really excited about that. I also I could have eaten less calories every day because I'm not hungry. I love food. If I see food, I eat food, but I don't think about it all the time. And if I and I know now to eat a smaller portion, because if I eat a little bit too much, it gives me a stomach ache, which is good because I need that little spanking so I remember not to do that again. And so, anyway, what was I saying? Oh, I'm still making sure I do not eat less than 1,200 calories. That's the very lowest that I eat. I eat between 1,200 and every now and again I get a 2,000 day, but usually I'm between 1,200 and 1,700. A lot of times about the 1,400, 1,500 calories. So that way I can very healthily lose 1 to 2 pounds a week. It'll give my skin a chance to kind of shrink down with me and not be as loosey goosey, though it's going to be a little loosey goosey because I'm not a young thing anymore, but it won't be as much. And it's a healthier way to go. You're less likely to have gallbladder problems and things like that if you don't lose weight too fast. Though, of course, a lot of times the first week that you go on a diet or a much lower amount of calories, a lot of times you'll lose a lot of weight that first week, but some of that weight is water weight and that kind of stuff. And sometimes your body gives you a quick jump start. um, and if you didn't get a quick jump start, I'm sorry, not everybody does, but sometimes you do, and I wouldn't worry about that big jump start. That's great, but it usually slows down when you are eating healthy and a healthy amount of food, which is for women at least 1,200 calories or more. For men, it's 1,500 calories or more. If you consistently eat less than 1,200 calories as a woman and you consistently eat less than 1,500 calories as a man, you're going to start losing a lot of your muscle mass too. and your metabolism will slow down. And your body might think, oh no, she's starving. I got to quick hang on to every calorie I possibly can. And I've had that happen to me way too many times on past diets. And I'm starving and I'm not eating. And then later I can't take it anymore. I fall off the wagon and I easily gain all my weight back plus more weight because now I don't have as much muscle mass. And so my metabolism is slower. And so it's ruined me one too many. I'm very careful and strategic to make sure I'm eating without overeating, and I'm doing pretty good. So I'm down. I truly am down pounds because I'm no longer FOS, full of poop. So anyway, that's the scoop on that. I'm going to read some of the questions that people have in the comments. If you have a question and you haven't asked it yet, I'm live currently at this moment. Type it up, and I'll read it in a minute, and I'll try to answer it as best as I can. If you are watching this on replay, that's great too. I try really hard to answer all the questions that people ask. If I don't know the answer, then I'm going to look for the answer. And I'm going to ask, I have a wonderful primary doctor. I can ask him questions in this Helo app portal, and he always gets back to me at least in a couple of days, and sometimes even the same day, which is really awesome. I really love my doctor. Let's see. I think I told you about my doctor visit. I told you about my gyno, my private. Oh, yeah, I told you about all that. Oh, there are some people who've talked about chia seeds instead of fiber gummies. That chia seeds are very healthy and they can kind of help you too. Colon cancer. My grandfather died of colon cancer when he was 35. So I always try to be careful, and I get my colon screenings and stuff. But I have another family member that's gotten diverticulitis. And so you have to be kind of careful sometimes with seeds. And I was eating a lot of chia seeds one year because Jeff was making chia pudding a lot, and with chia seeds and milk, and you soak it overnight. And if you use Fairlife chocolate milk, oh my gosh, it's so delicious. And Fairlife milk is higher in protein. It's a filtered milk. 140 calories for a cup. We love it. If you heat it up in the microwave, it makes the richest, most delicious hot chocolate. And it has 13 grams of protein and only 140 calories. It's one of my specialty treats when I want something sweet. So that's another tip out there for you. But anyway, I was eating a lot of the chia seeds. And when I had my colonoscopy, my doctor told my gastroenterologist told me I had a little bit of, I hope I'm saying it right, diverticuli. I didn't have a ton where I needed a big surgery or anything, but he said, I might need to watch how many seeds I've eaten. I was like, oh, I've been eating chia pudding every day. So I've kind of slowed down, but Jeff loves it. He hadn't had it for a while, but being reminded about that, he's starting to do his chia seeds again. I told you about Dr. Hormone, Dr. Susan Bryan. Check her out. Check out her YouTube channel. And if you have a question, you can ask her a question in the comments and she'll give you a really good answer. I think she's just great. Titrating up. A lot of people have been asking about that. When you're on 2.5, that is not a full dose. That's a half dose of metformin, and it's a half dose of Zepbound. And metformin and Zepbound, exact same medication, and it comes in the exact same quantities. And the 2.5 is a starter dose. It's to get your body used to it so you don't have severe side effects. So your body kind of can get used to it. And then you can upgrade to the 5 milligram is the first dose, lowest dose that's truly a therapeutic dose. Though some people are having great luck on 2.5, and they're losing weight on 2.5, and their appetite suppressed and all of that on 2.5. And if that's working for you after 4 weeks and you're losing weight and you don't have you're not hungry, hey, let it ride. You can do 2.5 again. You can keep doing it month after month until it stops working, because your body gets used to it, and then you need a little higher. So talk to your doctor about what you're feeling, and you and your doctor decide when you want to titrate up. Now, some people, 2.5, it's not enough. And they're letting me know I'm not losing hardly any weight. I'm still kind of hungry. It's really not doing the trick for me. Well, it's not a full dose. And when you're done with your 4 weeks, ask your doctor and let them know, or her know, that you're not really losing weight, too much weight, and you're still hungry, and they'll know, oh, it's time to move you up to the 5. And then the same thing, I'm going to try to do 5 for as long as I can. 5's 100% working for me, and so I'm going to let 5 ride until it doesn't work for me anymore, and then I'll ask my doctor to bump me up to 7.5. And then same thing. And so that way you slowly titrate up before you get to 15, because once you get to 15, there's no more places to go currently in 2024. That might change in the future, but right now that's where that's at. Okay, now, oh, darn it. My glasses. See if I have glasses over here so I can read your comments and I can answer them. Anyone who has questions and stuff. Oh, poop. Oh, wait. Maybe in my purse. If not, yell for Jeff to grab my keys. My purse. I think that says Gammy Rose says good evening. Good evening, Gammy Rose. And I do have glasses. Yay. Okay. And let's see. Jennifer says, I also am equal opportunity fat and my tummy gives me the worst symptoms. Yeah. So if it's not working that great in your tummy, then skip that. You got a lot of places on your legs. You just don't put it in the same spot every time, because you can develop scar tissue there. And if you develop a little scar tissue, then your medicine isn't going to get absorbed into your body as well. And so that's why they say it's really important to rotate. But let me tell you, on my thighs, I could probably do a whole year just on one leg and not hit the same spot. So if the tummy's bothering you, I'd skip the tummy and I do arms and legs, but always move it to a slightly different spot on your arm or leg. Robin Beck says, I heard today this also curbs drinking alcohol. It does. It does. So I can he has been a type 2 diabetic, and he was telling me he's always on 7.5. And since he's been diabetic so long, and he was taking all kinds of stuff, including he became insulin dependent this last couple of years. And Mounjaro's done the thing for him. His first 5 months, he lost 50 pounds. And not only is he not hungry, he told me, he's like, Gina, I have expensive, fabulous bottles of alcohol in my house. I've got a little bar area with all kinds of fancy stuff. And he said, I haven't felt like drinking for a year. And he was never an alcoholic, but it's just amazing to him that he doesn't crave it. Any cravings for alcohol are gone, and he has it all around him, and he's just not interested. He lost his interest. And they are saying now that a lot of people are having this effect, and they might do an off-label thing with Mounjaro for people who have different addictions, that it might help them with that. So yeah, that is exactly right. Let's see. And Jennifer Holman, yay! She's congratulated me on the 6.0 of my A1C. Thank you so much. Lori Brumfield says, awesome. Mary Lynn says, hello, friend. So glad to catch you live. Always look forward to Mondays with you. Thanks, Mary Lynn. And I promise to be here for you next Monday too. And when I do have my surgery, it's not on a Monday. So I shouldn't be missing any Monday lives. Oh, let's see. Lori Brumfield says, did you ever find out if you can take Colace daily? Thank you for asking. Yes. And I was told I could take Colace daily, that it shouldn't cause me issues, that's an okay thing to do. So I figure in my mind with it that Colace just being a stool softener is even, I I always try to have the least amount of medicine possible is kind of how I run things with myself. And so, like last night, since I'm emptied out, I did take a Colace and I still did the juice super greens, and I didn't do a Miralax. And I think what I'm going to do is just kind of see how I go. And if I'm slowing down on my pooping again, where it's kind of like it was before, it was just like a teeny bit in the morning and maybe a teeny weeny bit in the afternoon, I'll I'll have a little Miralax. So I might do Miralax maybe once or twice a week. I'm not sure, but I'm not going to be scared if I need it eventually every day, because it's supposed to be okay. And Colace every day is supposed to be okay. So I'm going to do the Colace every day for sure. And then, to keep things going, because I never want to be that backed up again, because that's not good for you either, to be backed up like that consistently. So yes, but ask your doctor just in case you're taking a medication for something that that might be an issue. But my doctor said it's fine. So, but like I say, always ask your doctor. But what I've been told by my doctors is I could do Colace every day, I'll be fine, and I could do Miralax every day if I wanted to. Oh, wow. And Megalosing is doing the opposite. Her periods are shorter on Mounjaro, just 3 days. Hey, that's nice too. It's never fun to have those. You can have it shorter. Great. Oh, and thanks, Megalosing. She says it's good news and it could be fine. Yeah, I may be fine. It really could have been. It just kind of, I don't know, started things up for me. And she said, um, Dr. Susan Bryan, Dr. Hormone, she said that that happens to women when they get their insulin resistance under control with it, and then all of a sudden they start having menses again. She uses menses instead of periods, but the same thing. So I might be just a-okay. Also, Jennifer Holman says, also birth control not as effective on Mounjaro equals Mounjaro babies. Yes. And I have heard that in numerous places too. It might even say that on the directions when you get the box, it has a whole bunch of stuff in there. So read those directions. I'm pretty sure that is in there. So yes. So if you are of baby making age, you're going to want to do something else in combination with your birth control or something entirely different. But you can't count on your birth control pills working 100% when you're on Mounjaro, and you might get a Mounjaro baby. Lori Brumfield says, I'm on week 1 and you have helped me so much with your tips. Yay, I'm so glad, Lori. And keep me informed of how you guys are doing. I love getting a chance to cheer you on and to have a great community where we can just be there for each other. And Camelia, I'm not sure how to pronounce your last name, Camelia, but you said, I'm really concerned about the constipation because of colon cancer history in my family. Me too. Have you ever had constipation problems before Mounjaro? Yes. Or was this a completely new experience? Okay. Yeah. So when I was in grade school and high school, my family didn't talk about poop. My friends didn't talk about poop. And I pooped once or twice a week. And I had the kind of hard constipation poops, the little hard round balls, kind of like I was a rabbit or something. I was pooping pellets. And when I was in high school, I had a boyfriend, and I don't know how poop came up, but he said something that he poops every day. And I was like, there's no way you don't poop every day. You're pulling my leg. And I laughed so hard. I thought that was so funny. He poops every day. And my mom, is at that point, I think my mom was an RN. And so she was a nurse. And I went to my mom and I'm like, oh my gosh, my boyfriend says he poops every day. He's pulling my leg. And my mom said, I poop every day. You don't poop every day, Gina? And I was like, no, I go like once or twice a week. And she was like, oh my gosh, because she had no idea. And I'd been constipated my whole freaking life up to that point. Then when when I went to college, I always just had a hard time pooping in public, and I lived in a dorm. So that made it a little hard for me. And so I would go drinking with my friends on Thursday night. And if I drank enough beer, I used to call it a beer poop. And I'd have a beer poop on Friday morning. And that's how I was able to stay regular. Once a week, we would go out on Thursday nights and have a little too much beer. And then I became a school teacher, and I was a elementary school teacher for 11 years. And all 11 years, I was constipated because you can't. There's no time. Teachers have such little time. You've got such a short lunch. It's just enough to run, pee real quick, shove food down your face as fast as you can, and then you got to go and take care of those kids again. So there was never time that I could poop during the day. And so I was constipated all those 11 years. And then I became a stay-at-home mom after I had my second child. And when I was home and I could go whenever I needed to go, I wasn't so constipated anymore. And then I was a lot better. But if I'm going to run some way, I'm going to run more constipated than the other. I almost never have diarrhea. If I'm going to have a problem, it's constipation. And so it's always important that if you feel the need to go, you need to go. Because if you hold it, then you're going to lose that sensation. And then it's going to get hard and you're going to have issues. Or it is, that's how it's been for me. So yeah, like if you're someone who gets stomach aches really easy, like maybe you have a very stressful job or a stressful marriage or something and you hold your stress in your stomach, and you're more likely to get stomach aches, then you might be someone on Mounjaro who might be more likely to have the nausea issues and more blah. So but for me, I've always had kind of an iron stomach. I could eat too much, like a Thanksgiving dinner, and I'd be a little uncomfortable, but I'd get over it. I could digest every last little ounce. But not anymore. Mounjaro has changed that for me. And I've only thrown up the one time. I talked about that in week 4 too. My two big mistakes is I had no Tums in the house because I've never had a tummy ache. So, so to have, I didn't have Tums or Alka-Seltzer or anything like that. And so I had one day that my first week of the 5 milligrams I did. And then we got all that kind of stuff in the house. And Pepsid Complete, if I take one of those, if I'm feeling, I ate too much, or this isn't feeling so good in my stomach, I can take one of those. Within 10 minutes, it's gone. The sensation's gone and I'm fine. So very important to have stuff for tummy trouble. But yeah, your side effects might be, what you get might be kind of related to kind of how you are anyway, and then just exuberate something as a possibility though. You gotta try it out and see, but there's always different little things you can take to help you with that. Camellia says, I'm worried that any existing constipation issues in my case would only worsen, hence the question. Yeah. And that was how it was for me. So that's my big battle is the constipation. And so I also get luck with Activia yogurt, and they just came out. They have an Activia with fiber. Oh my God, it's so delicious. I just got it at the store yesterday, and I had my first one, and I got the pineapple and strawberry flavors, and I had the pineapple one this morning. Oh my gosh, it was so good. And so it has fiber with an extra probiotics, more than in a regular yogurt. And that's helpful. I've found that helps me some too. And but talk to your doctor and ask him or her, can I have a Colace every day, or Miralax every day? Is that going to be a problem with the other medications or other issues that I currently have, other than being overweight or whatever? And they'll probably tell you you're going to be okay, because I'm getting a lot of doctor advice that it's okay, and people giving comments saying that their gastroenterologist said take a couple Colace a day, and then if you need it, add a little laxative on there for the days that the Colace doesn't do the trick. Okay. Gammy Rose says, I'm having trouble getting 90 to 100 in protein. Suggestions. Yes, I do have suggestions. So some of the things that have worked for me, cottage cheese has a lot of protein in it. There's and I'll put like I like a little fruit in my cottage cheese. So I'll get like those little, and I love pineapple. So I get like the pineapple that's in juice, and the pineapple that's in juice I think is 60 calories, and then I'll put it with a half cup of cottage cheese, and it has a lot of protein in it. There's some Greek yogurts that have a lot of protein in it. There's one called OIKOS, Okies, zero sugar, zero fat, and 15 grams of protein. And it comes in these cute little cups, and strawberry and vanilla, some other flavors. Delicious, 15 grams. I also, Costco has these right now, Alani protein drink, and I like the one that's called Munchies. 20 grams of protein and only 140 calories. And when I drink my coffee now, I'll put a whole bunch of the protein drink in it, and then coffee, and then I'll drink that instead of creamer. And then the second half, and I'll use about half of a 140 calorie bottle, and then the second half of it I stick in the fridge, and then I'll just sip on it during the day, and so I get that full 20 grams of protein in. Um, Registered dietitians, because I have a lot of those that are friends, and I'm part of Rally Coach through my health insurance. I'm able to take that program for a year, and they tell you that you should have 20 to 30 grams of protein for breakfast, for lunch, and for dinner. So 30, 60, 90, that's 90 grams of protein, or 20, 40, 60. So you want to have between, at least 60 to 90. They preach that over and over and over and over again. Chicken, 3 ounces of chicken has 20 grams of protein in it. And I don't know, I shop a lot at Costco. Costco does not give me any money. Mounjaro doesn't give me any money. I'm just telling you stuff off my head. But what was I gonna say? Something that I buy at Costco that I really like. The rotisserie chickens. 3 ounces of that. So you can buy the rotisserie chicken for $5, and it's a big giant chicken. But for a little more money, they have, that's about like $20, but it's a few pounds of chicken, and it's just the rotisserie chicken breast meat without the skin. And you get 20 grams of protein and 110 calories for 3 ounces. Jeff and I, we always buy that. We weigh it and put it in little Ziploc baggies, and then put it in a big Ziploc baggie in the fridge, and we use it for lots of things. We'll toss it on a bag salad. Today we did their raw tortillas, and then you heat them up, and we put a little bit of the one bag of rotisserie chicken on it, and a quarter cup of cheese, of cheddar cheese, and then 2 tablespoons of our favorite barbecue sauce from it's a local restaurant in town, but Joe's barbecue sauce, and another 50 calories on there. Oh my gosh, so delicious. And it took me like 5 minutes to make it for Jeff for lunch today. So anyway, the chicken stuff, also great, great, great for protein. And Camille says, thank you. WD40 says, oh wait, I'm missing another. Next one's Kimberly Bradley. She says, hello, do you have any irritation after your shots with the Mounjaro? None. So there may be people that do, but I don't. Absolutely not. I just have one little red dot. So I know that I really did give it to myself. And then I wipe that dot with my alcohol swab thing. And I've yet to have any problem. No rashes, no bumps, anything like that. But that's me. Someone else might, but I don't. And WD40 says, Camellia, have been on for 1 month past constipation issues, but not a problem with Zepbound 2.5. Make sure you get enough fiber. That helps. Fiber does help. And my favorite thing that I've been making this week is I chop up a zucchini, and I chop up a bell pepper. And again, I shop at Costco, and they have like a bag of zucchinis, and they have the red, yellow, and orange bell peppers. And I stick it in. I have um, and these are Epicure's steamers, and this is the rectangle steamer. And in here today, I have one zucchini chopped up and some red bell pepper chopped up. And I put this in the microwave for 5.5 minutes with the lid on. And then I sprinkle a couple tablespoons. So that'd be 40 calories worth. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I took a picture of what all in the community post section. And I'm really hooked on that. That's giving me more fiber because I'll eat all of this. So this is an entire zucchini and an entire bell pepper, and with a little Parmesan cheese. Oh my gosh, so good. So yeah, eating your fruits and vegetables can make a difference. And if anyone's interested in getting one of these silicone steamers, you can wash them in the dishwasher. You can put them in the microwave. You can put them in the oven up to 450 degrees. Epicure's having a sale on them this week. So, and they never have these on sale, but the little rectangle steamer's on sale, as well as the big one. Here's the big one. And the big one, you can even put a whole chicken in it and put it in the microwave for 20 minutes, and it makes a roasted chicken that's delicious. It's like crazy. And they have a lot of spices on sale this week. They're having a big spring sale, so there's a lot of things on sale. And if you're interested, and you live in Canada or the United States, if you go to ginalabens.epicure.com, I have the link in the description. You can check it out and see if you're interested. But I like steaming my vegetables, and I like things fast. Jeff and I are like simple, and we like things simple and quick. And it helps me to eat more vegetables when I steam. But yeah, if you can eat more fiber, that also will help you with the constipation. And let's see, Camellia thanked WD-40. And W said, Grammy have you tried protein shakes? Yeah, protein shakes really help. And Gammy Rose says she tries protein shakes, but tries not to do them every day due to kidney stone history. See, that's why you really need to talk to your doctors. There are some vegetables that aren't good for people with kidney disease. So, so even something as healthy as a vegetable, some vegetables are, but there are some that aren't. So, if you have kidney disease, ask your doctor if you can talk to a nutritionist, or ask them if they have a website or something for you to go to, so you can have the list of things that are helpful and things that are harmful when you have kidney disease. Let's see. Jennifer asks if I experience fatigue during shots or days after shots. If so, how do you handle it? It hit me hard on 5. When I went from the 2.5 to 5, it did kind of hit me hard. That first week was like, whoa, but I did take it 1 week too soon. But I don't know. I just try to get enough, try to go to bed a little bit earlier, and that doesn't always happen to me. WD says, welcome aboard the Mounjaro Zepbound journey, a food noise free zone. I love that. And it truly is. Donna says she's glad to catch a bit of the live. So glad to see you too, Donna. And Lori says, thank you to WD-40. Donna says, I'm one of the many people that is having a problem with the coupon. Oh my gosh. Yes. All right. I watch a lot of YouTubers who do Mounjaro, especially the ones who've done it for over a year, so I can get advice from my sideline sisters that are a little bit ahead of me. And it's been a big fat problem. The system was hacked somehow, and they're trying to fix it. But today, someone put in the comments of someone's video that said there was a problem with the coupons, that her coupon worked today. So go to your pharmacy tomorrow. It might be fixed because someone had luck with it today. So it might be fixed. And I saw that late this afternoon. So it might not have worked this morning, but late this afternoon, someone was able to get their Mounjaro Zepbound coupons. to get them to work, so they don't have to pay the $1,000 and wait to get a refund. But I heard they're going to give a refund, but I can't speak to that yet. I lucked out and I got my 5 milligram. I think I have just 2 shots left. So I just got my box, and then it seemed like a couple of days later, everyone was having those issues. So I lucked out at the moment anyway. Yep. And Pepsid is really good for nausea and upset stomachs. The best. Oh gosh. But yeah, WD-40, she uses the Good RX coupon. It's still really expensive, but it's worth every penny. It's just amazing. Lori likes the Premier protein shakes. They have 30 grams of protein and safe for diabetics. And WD-40 found protein nacho chips, 1 bag, 18 grams of protein, 140 calories, and 5 carbs. And she purchased this at Walmart. And with Zepbound, only have 1 bag, a miracle. Oh, yeah, because you get fuller faster. It's so awesome. And WD-40 says they're called Quest protein chips. Quest has really good protein bars too. And Donna has found the protein chips at Walmart. Yep, and it is Quest. And Debbie G says cottage cheese ranch is shockingly good. Blend 16 ounces of cottage cheese till smooth and add a packet of dry ranch mix. Gammy Rose says, I think one frustrating thing is docs are prescribing this mess with no guidance with food. Thankful for YouTube. Yes. Oh my gosh. And Donna says, thank you, Gina, for all you do. These weekly chats are so helpful. Okay. And let's see, well, I'll pull it out next week. But I got a plate from Rally Coach where it shows you the plate method, and half your plate is supposed to be fruits or vegetables. A quarter of your plate, about the size of your fist, would be your starches, your pasta, rice, maybe a roll, dinner roll, but your starch, or a potato, starchy vegetable. And then a quarter of your plate is to be your protein, your chicken, fish, meat, beans, if you're vegetarian, I don't know, your tofu or whatever, of protein, and then a little bit of healthy fat, like a tablespoon of olive oil or something. Or if you're having a salad of salad dressing. And that is what nutritionists preach right now. And they've been preaching it for quite a few years now. That's a healthy way to go. All right. And BioCare makes protein shakes for GLP-1. They are so good, mixed with water and food. Okay. And or you mix them with water and they're good. And Pam Laney says, on my first week of ZEP 5.0, felt good and can feel the fullness kicking in more quickly. And she's lost about 12 to 13 pounds now. Congratulations. Congratulations, Pam. Oh, good, because that's Pam, and then maybe Eleni is maybe her last name. But congratulations, Pam. Okay, well, I think I told you guys I'm down. Sometimes when I step on the scale, it's 12 pounds, and sometimes it's 13 pounds. So it's, the 12, 13, 12, 13, but right in there, and after 8 weeks. And I look forward to doing this with you again next week on Mounjaro Monday. Similar-ish time. I can never get it exactly on the nose because I have a lot of different variables that are happening to me on my Mondays, but I look forward Monday night seeing some of you again. And be sure to put in the comments, what's your goal this next week? My goal last week was to get unplugged from my constipation, and that's taken care of, and I feel so much lighter. Oh my gosh, it's amazing finally being empty there. And so anyway, and this week, my new goal is I want to start lifting weights. And so I started today. I bought 5-pound weights at I think I went to Walmart or Target, one of those places. I bought them a couple of months ago thinking I would do it, and I put them in a cupboard. And you know what? When it's in a cupboard, you can't see it. You can't use it. So now I'm going to put it in the living room where I can see it. And today when I was watching a TV show, I I was working on my biceps and triceps, and then did some of these, and did some rows. And I want to lift weights 3 days a week, just with these $5, or the, well, I don't know, maybe more about $5, but these 5-pound dumbbells. So that's my goal this week, because I have not been weightlifting. And I hope you tell me what your goal is next week, and then share with me next week if you met your goal. And everyone who gave last week, check and remember, what was that goal? Did you meet it? Did you do it? Um, all right. Well, everyone, hold on to your anchor moments and have a great week. And thank you, thank you, thank you for being here and being a part of this community. You make my day, and I appreciate having you here. Bye-bye.